I see it.
Cool. Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions Daily. Today I've got Liran Hirschkorn and Amy Weiss in the studio, or in their studios, because we're obviously practicing social distancing from about 10,000 miles from where we are at the moment. But lots to say. Welcome Liran, welcome Amy. So today we're going to go in deep on listing optimization. We're going to start right at the top of the browser. We're going to go straight in with canonical URL. We're going to go to the title. We're going to go to the bullet points. We're going to go to the images. We're going to do the backend search term. We're going to do description, and we're going to do A+ content, formerly known as what, Liran?
A+ content, formerly known as EBC, enhanced brand content.
Exactly. Right. So for those...
Benny's testing if I'm paying attention.
Yeah. All right. So for those that are living under a rock, please, can you explain, Liran, who you are? Give a little bit of background while I start sharing to the groups.
Yeah, absolutely. So Liran Hirschkorn, I've been selling on Amazon since 2014. I started by going to stores, buying things at a discount and reselling on Amazon, and I got hooked. And so in 2015, I started my first private label brand, built up some private label brands, have sold millions of dollars on the platform since. And somehow got into this crazy world of, helping other sellers in a variety of ways. Now have an agency business as well called Zon Marketer, and recently started a new group called the E-Community, free to join until May 31st. And I love, I think the reason why I got into helping sellers is I'm an extrovert, and I love the connection and people. And I get a lot of joy out of helping people, as opposed to just sitting behind the computer, kind of just running my own business, which can be lonely as a digital marketer.
Yeah, digital. Well, not a nomad because you're locked down, are you? So it's not like you can get out and about. Amy.
Exactly.
Hello. So, hey, everybody, how's it going? My name is Amy Weiss, and I started flipping products on Amazon in 2007. I was in the U.S. Air Force at the time, and I was going through college, and I was selling my textbooks and anything else I could really find around the house. And I love that I could sell on Amazon. I also sold on eBay. I didn't really like eBay that much. But anyway, I did that for a couple of years just as like a fun little side hustle. I continued all the way until I got stationed in Hawaii, and the shipping got expensive because back then, FBA wasn't really a thing. It was more merchant fulfilled, and I used to make my own packaging and stuff like that. So anyway, fast forward, and I came here to San Antonio, Texas, and I invented a product. I had a stinky cat litter box problem, and so I solved it by inventing a product. And I started on this journey, and I learned that there wasn't really a lot of resources for people like me who, I have a bunch of business degrees and stuff like that, but there wasn't a lot of resources for people like me to develop products, source them, get molds made, all of that stuff. And it's usually something that you have to kind of hire out, right? So I started on this journey of figuring it out, and I just shared along the way. And so that has kind of morphed into, since then, I've launched my product in a couple of brands, and I have a China trip, and I started a consulting firm actually helping Amazon sellers. So I absolutely love it. I never knew that the journey would lead me here, but I'm proud. I love being able to give back to other business owners, and I'm happy to be here today. Thanks for inviting me.
Cool. I just want to say hello to everyone in the comments. Baptiste, hey. Who else we got? Andrew, hi all. Andrea, hey guys, afternoon. Ben Valance, Tiffany Hepburn, morning ladies and gents. Pat Taylor, hey all. Let's see, have a look who's here watching. Omar is here. John's here. Dawid, how you doing, brother? I haven't spoke to you for a little while. Okay, so let's get straight into the content there. Let's go straight to the top. Canonical URL. Let's just quickly... I'll give a description of what it is. We know what it is, but just for those who don't know what it is and what it's used for, but then we can discuss what we use it for. So a canonical URL tag is a way of telling search engines that a specific URL represents the master copy of the page. Using the canonical URL prevents problems caused by identical or duplicate content. Liran, why do we use a canonical URL, sorry, and how do we use it?
So as far as I know, the canonical URL is the sort of I think it's two types of URLs. It's a standard like ASIN URL that you use, and it's also a URL that has like usually the beginning of the keywords that you try to get to show up in the Google search results. So typically it's like the first 5 words in the title, and those can be important for SEO purposes when people are searching for your product in Google. So I think that's the way most people are using the canonical URL to try to get that Google search results back into Amazon, and it's usually the first 5 words. Is that accurate, Danny?
Yeah, I think so. So basically, if I reiterate what you're saying there is that, let's just say from the very beginning when you create a listing, ideally you want within inside of the URL, you want the keywords that are in your title, right?
Yeah.
You have full control of what order or how many of those keywords will appear in there, from my understanding.
Yes,
randomly,
you do.
If you want 5 in there, you choose to have 5 and then a hyphen and 3, or are you saying that you get control of the order and everything else?
You can actually control the order. I've tested this extensively.
Talk me through it then, because this is new for me. I didn't know you control the order.
Yes. So it's actually as Liran is correct, it's the first 6 keywords that are in the title. Yeah. However, you can totally mess that up with the dash. Yes. So if you use a dash throughout your title, like a lot of people will put, the first 5 keywords and then they'll put a dash and then they'll put a bunch more and they'll put another dash, and or maybe they have like a size, like extra large or something, and they have a little dash in there, or extra small something. Well, that will actually pull the words from the title and put them in the canonical URL. So how you can reset that is you can put your first 6 keywords in there, followed by a dash, and then not use the dash anymore
in the title.
Yeah, and it will actually reset after you make those changes. But the reason why you really want to do that is because you'll find if you look at somebody who has a messed up canonical URL, so you look at the URL on Amazon and you see, the example I use in my listing optimization presentation is this floor lamp, and it has it's imagey, like temperature technology, because they use these multiple dashes. Well, nobody's searching for that on Google, right? But yet this is a really cool floor lamp, and it's dimmable and it's temperature controlled. And so had they done that and only used 1 dash, they might be able to show up in more Google search results. So, but you'll notice if you actually search for the words that are in their canonical URL, they're the first result that shows up on Google. Unfortunately, nobody's searching for that. So that's how you can really help yourself, not only on Google, but across the internet, rank by setting your title. So you want to make sure first 6 keywords followed by a dash, and don't use the dash any further. You can use the pipe or commas, that's okay. But nothing else other than that dash one time.
From my understanding, and I'm not a programmer, but the pipe is like an operator, like an on or off or yes or no. So you have to still be careful with that. I know that's a problem in Germany because the translation of the language, and Amazon expressed that. If you're running, it may be different now, but a couple of years ago, running discovery auto campaigns, it caused issues by using that because it's seen as an operator. But again, I'm not a programmer, so they said you remove that from the titles. But very interesting. I thought it was first 5, first 6. That's great. It's about learning stuff.
And so, Amy, do you still use the brand name in the beginning of your titles generally, because you're balancing out the brand name along with the SEO value in Google?
That's a really awesome question. It depends on the product, right? So if Amazon forces the brand name, then there's nothing you can do about it. But remember that even though you're setting your canonical URL with those first 6 keywords followed by the dash, as you guys know, your title, the rest of the keywords in your title and your bullet points still rank. So it's not like you're losing out completely. You'll still kind of rank for those in the search engine. It just helps. But so I don't use the brand name unless we're working on we're really working on brand presence, right? Or if Amazon forces it.
You know, the other thing, what you've got to take in consideration as well, like 80-20 rule, right? In terms of ranking on Google, that's all well and good. Like you said, Amy, you could be right at the top when there's no search volume. But if there is search volume, you're not going to rank anyway because you've got no backlink or no history there. And I know Amazon's an authority. Now, you can start to build backlinks to your Amazon listings. I mean, that goes further out. Moving away from that is a whole new subject that we could chat about.
Right.
But we'll be here all day.
But I suppose what I'm saying is it's important to get it right first time. But then we got to think about, right, what works on Google doesn't necessarily mean it works on Amazon. So you're optimizing your listing for Amazon and you need them keywords on Amazon, and Google's a secondary thing because you're operating on a primary platform. So you might find, like you said, is that it's good in terms of volume and competitiveness for your listing, and it's correct on Amazon, but it could be useless on Google without building some backlinks. And yeah, go on, sorry.
And I think the 80-20 is focusing on your ranking for Amazon, right? Because the 80-20 is focusing your ranking on Amazon and focus on a human being reading it who you don't want to. You don't just keyword stuff or just have words in there that are not going to make sense to the person reading it, or not convince them to buy the product. And for me, the things that I focus on are the keywords and the emotions, right? Keywords benefit in the title.
Yep.
Yeah, and right now I'm doing a listing optimization masterclass. It's like a series of 11 webinars, and we started with SEO, doing SEO research, and I always teach to not only do your research with Amazon keyword tools, but also do your keyword research across the internet. Because as you guys mentioned, Amazon is an authority, right? It's a very trusted domain. It's going to show up high in search results across multiple search engines. So it's really awesome to make sure that you're doing your keyword research across all of the channels, but then also making sure that you are, for that main keyword that you choose, that you're actually making sure that that you're focusing on Amazon for that portion, but also throughout your listing that you're focusing on the entirety of search results you could show up in.
Okay, right. We've done nearly 12 minutes on the canonical URL. Let's move to the title. Liran, go first. Let's talk desktop and then we'll move to mobile.
Yeah. So as far as the title goes, the thing I've always done is, like I said before, combining keyword research. I think the title is the place you want to have. It's the most important place for the keywords that you want to rank for and show up for. And what I like to do is I like to weave in keywords plus differentiation, right? So what does that mean? It means if I'm selling a fish oil and there's 100 other people selling a fish oil, I might want to put something like fish oil for joint pain, right? And maybe I'm not necessarily going after joint pain, but that person that's searching for fish oil for joint pain is going to be more likely to click on my listing versus somebody else. So the way I look at it is I want to have my most important keywords there, and I want to weave in benefits that my competitors don't necessarily have, so that that person can see a differentiation, even if maybe there isn't, right? Maybe my fish oil is identical to the other 100 on page 1 and 2, but I want to weave in keywords plus benefits. But for sure, the title is the place where the most important keywords that you want to rank for should go.
Yeah. Okay. So, Amy, bring you in here. Anything you want to add? I'm going to go because there's so many steps to talk through on the title. We started with desktop. We've still got to talk about mobile, the truncation and everything else, and how the title appears, how that affects PPC, all these different things. But, Amy, do you want to take any comment on this bit here, and then we'll go and break down the elements of the title, yeah?
Yeah, I love what Liran said about really communicating your differentiation. It's awesome because even if you are in a sea of competitors, if you can appeal to your audience more than your competitors right there in your title. So something to pay attention to, desktop versus mobile, is look at how many characters actually show up on mobile. I think it's like 70 or 80 that will show up in the mobile before it gets like truncated. So just make sure that, like Liran said, you lead with that differentiation. And then my second tip for you is make sure that differentiation is something that people are searching for. So the way you can do that is you can just type into the Amazon search bar. You can put in, for example, fish oil for, and see what medium or long tail keywords people are searching for, and then look at what your competitors are doing, and then also apply that. Like, go on Uber Suggest. It's a free keyword tool across the internet, and see why people are using fish oil, or answerthepublic.com.
Yeah.
See why people are using fish oil, and really get in there. And that way, again, you're going to appeal to that audience, and you're going to be using awesome keywords that people are actually searching for.
Yeah. Cool. Right, let's switch over to okay. What we've got to look at here is there's various levers levers that we got to think of, right? So you've got description to customer. Customer's got to understand the premise of what the product that they're buying, which is not just a load of junk keywords. You've got to get the emotion across. You've also got to get the keywords in there. Plus, you've got to look at what the types of devices they are, and that it reads well across all these devices. You've got 70 characters. Talk to me about preference. Where does the preferences lie? Do you go after the keywords? Do you go just emotion? Do you have one keyword? Amy said, because you always have to trade off, right? Even down to canonical URL. The canonical URL could be absolutely useless because you might have one keyword in there, and the other 4 or 5 words that you use are a description, the emotional part of the product, which is irrelevant for that. See where I'm coming from?
Yeah. I always prioritize that medium to long tail keyword that I am trying to rank for initially. And I always make sure that that contains the seed keyword that has the larger search volume. So I always prioritize that. And then I make sure that the differentiation is there and I'm leading with that. And then also really pay attention to your main photo. Because if you're trying to set yours apart, specifically, if you're trying to communicate,
be careful the photos. We haven't got there yet. We're still on titles, Amy. Focus, please.
At the same time, though, that's going to drag them to the title, right? If you're trying to get them to click on that, I think that you should really be focusing on your packaging should have that differentiation along with your title, and that can help you if, let's say, your differentiation gets truncated after your main keywords. That's my advice.
I think also, there's some things that you want to make sure. I want to make sure that when a customer looks at mobile, which is, increasingly, especially throughout, Amazon always puts out these numbers around holiday time, like 70% of all shopping is done through mobile, right? So you really want to look at that. One thing I noticed is I think you want to have the details into that beginning of the title. And what do I mean by that? Well, if it's a set of 4, if it's a 10-ounce bottle, if it's a 1-pound bag, right? I think you want to have that so when customers are shopping, they actually understand what it is that you're offering within that first mobile view, right? So if I'm selling a bottle of fish oil, how many capsules come in that? If I'm selling, a baseball bat, how many inches is that bat, right? What's the material, or what are some of the key things that somebody looking for that product is going to want to know when they're buying your product? And I think you want to make sure that those details are within the first set of characters, so that a customer actually has a complete idea of what they're getting when they're looking through the search results. So when they see somebody else, $20 for a 1-pound size, whatever, and they see yours at 25, well, maybe yours is 2 pounds, but you didn't have that in the beginning of the title, and they're not going to click on that because they just think your product is more expensive. So I think you want to pay attention to things like sizes, ounces, whatever, some of the details of what a customer is getting, and that shows up on mobile.
That's a really great tip. Definitely agree.
All right, what else?
Add that into the masterclass, Amy.
All right.
Okay, Tiffany Hepburn said, "Let the woman talk, Danny." I'm letting her talk. Right, Amy, what else do we cover on the title here? What have we missed? So we covered mobile, we covered desktop, right? We covered the length of the title, what should go in there. What else have we missed from this?
So you have a question from a user about how titles are hard to change. And so the really big tip that we have for you guys is make sure that you pay attention to listing optimization when you first write it, because it's tough to change your title. But how can you change your title? Make sure that you have a website with the product page because it makes it very easy to change your title. You can open up a case and you can attach the URL of your website and your product page and make sure that the title that you want to be there matches the title on the product page of your website, and Amazon will change it. Also, they may ask for photos of the product within the packaging, all sides of the packaging, in order to change the title. And this is key. A lot of people make this mistake. Do not send stock photos of this product. Amazon wants proof that you own the product, that is in your possession. They want to see a live, what they call a live photo of the product on your desk, for example. So take your phone, take a picture of it on a table on your desk so they can see you actually have possession of this. And this is going to allow your title change to be pushed straight through. Cool.
Excellent. Anything else you want to cover on the title before we move to bullet points?
I think we got it, right, Liran? Yeah.
Liran, anything else? We missed anything?
No, title is like the most important thing. So focus.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk strength. So we're in agreement. The title is where the most strength is held for ranking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's general consensus. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Right. Let's go to the images next before we get to the bullet points. Eat with your eyes. Talk to me. Importance of images. What should people do? Image flow. Amy. Oh, sorry, Liran.
To me? Okay. Well, obviously, they say a picture says 1,000 words, right? So the images are going to be extremely, extremely important. And we kind of all know this. You want to have, obviously, you want to tell the story of the product. You want to have lifestyle photos. Using graphic design and text callouts is really, really important. How can you differentiate your product? If you have amazing kick-ass packaging, you want to feature that in your product. But then there are like some tips and tricks. You'll see, search for some beauty products like eye cream. You'll see this brand Liliana. Okay, I have this eye cream at home, and literally it's a 1.7 ounce bottle like this. But when you look at their images on Amazon, it looks like this. It looks like this. Okay, well, when you get it in your house, it's like that. Now they clearly say 1.7 ounces, but the way they've done this photography. You can search for their like vitamin C serum, for example, and you'll see this brand, Liliana. The way they've done their photography, it looks like the bottle is tremendous. Now, you don't want to cross the line, right? Because you don't want to get the negative reviews from people who got your product and then say, hey, it's tiny. So you want to make it very clear on what the size is. But there's definitely ways, not just the type of photos that you take, but the way you position your photos within Amazon. There's ways to position your photos where they take up more space. I think I heard Ivan talking about this, where to position. No, you're saying that's wrong.
No. That's
it's incorrect.
No, it's under NDA.
Okay.
So change the subject on that one.
So there isn't a way to position your photos where they're big or mobile. But there are ways. Yeah, there are ways you can make. You want to look at all that stuff. For example, I have a product that has in the main image, I have the packaging. Well, that's great, but it also makes my product look a little bit smaller compared to the competitor. So I have to kind of weigh and maybe A/B test. There are things you can use like PickFu, for example, right, where you can put your product in front of an audience of Amazon Prime shoppers and do an A/B test, split testing. So you really want to be able to kind of tell the story. Everybody knows lifestyle photos, call outs. And put your product in the best possible light. The images are something I would say most shoppers are looking throughout the images, right? They're going to skim, they're going to jump over a lot of the stuff, but I think title, images, reviews, price, right? Like some main components that people are going to use, and that ties in also with your A+ content. Yeah.
So let's quickly talk about the order of images. So obviously white background generally, unless you're Amazon, who put lifestyle pictures first on some of their products and go against their own terms of service. So we go with main image. Props are normally avoided, but people still end up doing it. Depends on what they are. They skirt around the edges. Taking the image as close to the edges as possible to expansive size, because you don't want to be on mobile and it looks like a little peanut in the middle with a load of white background around it. We know that. Second image, one thing we haven't talked about is not lifestyle images, but infographics.
Mm-hmm.
They are a good way of breaking things up. Talk to me, Amy. Go on. You're getting all excited.
I have a 7 photo strategy. First of all, I want you guys to remember that Amazon actually ranks you based on how many photos you use. So you need to be using a minimum of 6 photos, because if you're only using 4 or less photos, you're not even ranking. You're going to be suppressed.
Amazon considers that not retail ready, by the way. They have an official term for that.
Yep.
There you go. So you want to make sure that you're minimum using those photos. But the biggest mistake that I see people make is they will write the best listing. They will explain all the features and benefits. It will be awesome. And I will do what the customer does. I will go through and I'll scroll through their images and they don't answer my questions. Customers do not read your listing unless your photos answer their questions. So if they can't see the essential elements of what is included in your product and why they should buy it in your photos, they're not going to read your listing. They're going to move on to your competitors. So I want you to focus on the 7 most essential things that you can, in my opinion, and I've tested this many times across many brands, and every single time it increases conversions. Every time. So main photo, we talked about that already. Remember, the rest of your photos, they don't have to have a white background. They can include text, just like Liran says. They can include text. They can include, these call outs. So what I love to do is the second photo, I like to answer the question, why should you buy this product and not somebody else's? That's always what I like to showcase. The third photo should always be what is included. What do you get? How big is this thing? What's included? Is it a set of 2? This is the most essential element. People want to know, what are they getting? So that third photo should be, what do they get? The next photo, if you have a lifetime warranty or some kind of guarantee or exceptional quality that's better than your competitors, you better be calling it out in a photo. Show me a badge, show me a quality, show me some kind of risk assurance that I should be buying your product and I should be able to trust in the quality. Include that in a photo. The next one is multiple uses. How many ways can I use this product in my kitchen, in my bathroom, in my life? I want to see it. Whether you do a quad photo showing all the different ways they can use it, you want to get their brain moving, going, oh my gosh, I need this in my life, right? The next photo after that, you want to do the gift photo. I love to have a gift photo. And this is a photo that you can change out for the seasons. If it's a Christmas gift, a Valentine's Day gift, whatever, show it in their life. So make sure that on your gift photo that you are really kind of showing what you want them to imagine. If it's a baby shower gift, show it as a baby shower gift. Show them the new mom getting this amazing product, right? So if you have an awesome gift packaging, include that. Let them know, hey, you don't even have to wrap it. It's ready to go, right? Ready from Amazon to go. So, and then the final one is just another bonus lifestyle photo of showing this product in your life. And I love on this one to focus on, what is your life like with this product in it? So what's the end message to your customer? Are you really is their life just enhanced? In what way by using your product? Show them, with the clean couch after using your fur remover. But that's my 7 photo strategy. And it's really great. So make sure you're showing what's in your listing in your photos.
Yep. Danny, I want to add a couple of things. First of all amazing, great points, Amy, on how to use your photos. I hope people are writing down, because this is excellent content. So thank you for that. I want to add a couple of things on this. Number one, I think let's step back a little bit. Before you write your listing, I think you should fill out a sheet and say, who is my customer? What is my customer avatar? Okay. Yeah. Who is it? Is my customer that's buying this toy? Let me just write it to Sally, who's a 45-year-old mom who has 2 kids, age 8 and 10, who is buying this. And let me write this listing to Sally directly, right? And really try to appeal to that person, because if you appeal to everybody, you appeal to no one, but you want to appeal to someone, right? So who is that customer avatar you're trying to appeal to? And then I would add, another couple types of photos that you can add in, and your photos should evolve as your listing evolves over time. Well, what does that mean? It means I can have an image that has some, infographics on the right-hand side, but maybe on the left-hand side, now that my image is mature, I have I have some text, over 100 5-star reviews. I have some things that are updated, or over 5,000 happy customers or whatever, right? Like, as my image evolves on some of my products, I have images where I have, a lifestyle photo on the right, on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, I actually take, and again, this could be, I don't know if it's against terms of service or not, so never take my advice, but I've never gotten in trouble for it. But on the right-hand side, I have actual, like, photoshopped out, not photoshopped, but like cut out, right, from actual reviews on the listing, where I take some reviews that are short that show up, and on the right side, I have like 3 reviews, and you can see Amazon verified purchase, love this, love X product, whatever, and I have that social proof that I've added into my listing. The other type of image that I like to use is the coupon image, right, where I can say, and I've tested this on both buy one, save 10%, because I don't have that coupon anywhere else in the listing, because I just want to see if people are looking at the images and if that influences them to buy the product, or if it helps influence them. So I might have a coupon code, doesn't show up anywhere else on my listing. I purposely don't show that coupon on the detail page, but I have buy one, save 10, or you could do this if you want to encourage multiple units, if it makes sense for your product, buy 2, save 10%, buy 2, save 15, and put that coupon code there. And so there's, the lifestyle, the review images, the coupon images, so many uses for your images that, yeah, if you have 4 images, boy, are you losing opportunity to have conversions.
Yeah, agreed. Right, so we've gone all in on images. Anything that we've missed? Oh, the other thing I suppose we've got to look at is that, from my understanding, you've got 2 sets of databases. So if you're selling in the EU, there's one set of database. So if you write in English, for instance, they spread across the other marketplaces. You can't do the translation unless you've got, well, one little hack I'll tell you about now, but it's only relevant to people that are in pan-EU that has an Amazon manager, because they'll give you up to 20 ASINs where you can give them translated images. They won't admit that, and you have to send them around with about 4 or 5 emails, but it only works on pan-EU managers who's been seeking you, going after you in the last couple of months, right? But in the US, it's different as well. So when you're doing your image annotation and your text and your overlays and stuff, your conversions would be higher if you had the opportunity, say in Germany, that it was in German, or in France, it was in French. Yeah.
Danny, the only thing I would add is, I see so many sellers, they get to the finish line and they don't cross the finish line. What do I mean by that? I mean, they spend all their money on inventory, and then they don't have any money left to focus on their marketing and their listing and their images. Yeah. And that stuff is super important. Like, don't invest all this money in a product and then have mediocre images, especially now, because what I'm seeing is a shift in the market where you see more money come into Amazon, bigger players coming in. The 2013, 2014 sellers proved the model of what you could do with private label. Well, what happens after the small guys come in and prove the model? The big guys say, hey, this shit works. Let me go in and put a whole bunch of money and throw at it. And so right now it's more important than ever to actually have great packaging, great branding, great photography, and you're gonna spend all this money on your inventory and on your inspections and on getting your product quality right, but you're gonna miss out on the actual opportunity to capitalize on that by having a subpar listing. So especially on your images, don't go cheap on your product images.
I want to piggyback on something Liran said about really focusing on your customer. First of all, I would love to add that when you're focused on your customer, I see so many people choose the wrong keyword for their product. So, they'll choose the keyword coffee mug, for example, when their product is really a gift for men, so based on the message on the coffee mug, right? And then they get lost in the sea of competitors, or they use the keyword throw blanket, and that's an impossible keyword to rank for. Who is this for? Is it a gift? Is it specifically for, for babies, or, really focus on the customer when you choose your main keyword, because often what's happening is we have, as Liran mentioned, we have so many of these new sellers that are just like, okay, I've got this product. It's a coffee mug. and they're not focused on the customer at all. And so they launch it and they just get lost in the sea of competitors, where if they were actually focused on the customer when they chose their main keyword, they, think about what would the customer be searching for when they would want to buy this particular product. Is it girls' bedroom decor? Is it, you really need to focus on that. It's not just a lamp. It's not just a coffee mug. What is it to the customer?
Well, it's just, what you're saying is the same as the water bottle. Like a water bottle can range from $1.99 right up to $20. But really what you mean is that it's one of those with the fruit diffuser bottles. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's for a healthy lifestyle. It's for that person who's looking for, health and wellness. How can you really target the person who's looking for that solution to their problem with the main keyword, which will target the rest of the keywords you use throughout your listing? I can't tell you how many times I've done a listing review and seen somebody using a keyword that it's impossible to rank for. And if I wanted to buy that product, I wouldn't even search for that term. So that's just a really important foundational thing to pay attention to.
You bring up a great point. I was talking to a seller this week, and we were looking at another brand. It wasn't theirs. We were looking at another brand. And that brand, the product was a pretty cool branding company. Their product is called Punch in the Nuts, okay? It's a punch in the nuts, and it's like peanuts and spicy nuts and like mixed trail mix and stuff, right? And one of the things they said to me, it's a friend of theirs, okay? And so they were kind of asking me some questions about the brand, and they said, it's been very challenging for them with this brand because since Amazon started their own, Amazon has a private label also like nut brand, and Amazon's kind of taking all the search visibility, right, with their own private label.
Yeah.
And like, this product is not nuts. What you're selling is a gag gift for men, right? You're selling a Father's Day gift for men because it's funny, and the branding is called Punch in the Nuts, right? The keyword that you're going after, I mean, it's funny, right? It's great branding.
Awesome. I would totally buy that if it showed up for that keyword.
Yeah, but your competition is not Amazon's, whatever, hubby something, I don't know, Happy Belly or whatever nut brand. Your competition is like other gag gifts. It's Father's Day gift. It's like bachelor party men's gifts, Punch in the Nuts, right? Like that's your competition. And so understanding who's buying this customer, what is my branding, who am I going after, what are the keywords I'm going after? I'm selling nuts, but I'm not really selling nuts. I'm selling a gag gifts disguised as nuts, right? And I think I've used the word nuts now too many times in 1 second. So.
No, it's fine. You can swear on here as well. We fucking swear all the time. So
all right, let's go.
The gloves are off. Okay. Where do you want to go next? We've covered quite a hefty amount here.
Let's do bullets. Yeah.
Okay. Liran, you kick off first. What is your thought process when putting together bullet points from the very macro?
So first off, I like to think about the bullets for conversions, not keywords. Okay. So I think, I think between the title, I think between the backend search terms, between using subject matter field if you have it, there's plenty of places where you can already get in your main keywords. The bullets I really like to write for conversions. Now again, I don't think I'm going to be sharing any secrets. That there are kind of two types of shoppers. There's one, and depending on the product, if you're selling a $300 electronic product, people are going to want to read every line of the bullet to get the full understanding if this is compatible with this or that. But then there's going to be products where people are skimming, and there's going to be two types of shoppers, skimmers and ones that read the whole thing. So I like this idea. You'll see it on tons of listings where there's, capitals, right at the beginning of the bullets, and it's almost like highlights. You can read kind of like the main components, and then there's a dash, and you have the rest of the bullet. So I like that concept because I do believe there are two types of shoppers, skimmers and ones that read every single word. In fact, I'd be interested to find out, the people watching this right now, do you read every single word of the bullets when you buy a product on Amazon, or do you skim? And then what I would say is that you really want to tie in sort of like main capture attention thing, and then dash, and then the rest. And I like using words, transitional words in there. An example of a transitional word is so that, right? So, main kind of thing, capture attention, and then dash. And we've created this, amazing laser tag game for kids so that your family can have hours and hours of fun in the backyard at home or whatever, right? So including both like a feature of the product and then tying that to a benefit and using transitional words, and then a main boom thing, like if you have a lifetime warranty, well, that should be front line in your bullets, right? If it's the product is enough to last you for 3 months on your supplements, well, bam, that should be a thing.
If it's manufactured at home, if it's
cruelty-free, if
it's
made in the US, right? Like, well, maybe that's going to be something that captures depending for your market for that type of product. If you're selling a health and beauty item, they're all made in the US, so maybe that doesn't matter, right? So you want to for something an attention grabbing benefit, and then sort of the weaving in feature and benefit within the bullet points. And just trying to capture attention. But I like to think of my bullets more so for conversions than keywords.
Cool.
So I'm the opposite. I like to think of my bullets for, and I have a formula for this, of course. And I get to kind of test this with clients over time, right? I do this with clients on coaching calls. And recently with a client, we went through and I noticed he had individual keywords throughout his listing, and he was not focused on phrases, keyword phrases. People search for phrases, and that is what is going to organically rank you higher than your competitors. And so he was tracking his organically indexed keywords, and he was at about 1,500 organically indexed keywords, and he was tracking his competitors who were at about 3,500. And he was like, I just don't understand how they're ranking for so many keywords, how they're indexed for so many keywords. And I said, well, I copied and pasted his listing into a tool that I use. And I saw that it was a bunch of individual keywords smattered throughout the listing instead of using those important phrases that people are searching for. So what I aim to do is use 2 to 3 important phrases in each bullet point, not stuffing, but also, I have a format that I use, and I'll explain that, but not stuffing, but really making sure that you're using those. This client of mine, after only a couple of weeks of us updating his listing, is now ranking organically for over 3,800 keywords, more than anyone else in his saturated category. So this really, really works to use keyword phrases instead of individual. Of course, you don't want to stuff, because you can actually get in trouble with the search engine for that. They'll push you down if you're just keyword stuffing. But I have a formula. So my first bullet point, I love what Liran says about using the capital letters, and then I use a colon, sometimes a dash too. It doesn't really matter. But I love the capital, and then make it easy to read. My first bullet is always why you need this product in your life. Because as Liran says, most people skim, so they might not even read past the first bullet. You want to drive it home why they should buy your product. So, and then also fit in 2 to 3 keyword phrases in that bullet point. And the second bullet point is always what's included. The third bullet point is always my risk-free guarantee. The reason for this is because on desktop, and actually in 2019, Amazon reported that 67% of people actually like to shop on desktop and not mobile when it comes to Amazon.com. So that's really, really interesting statistics. So they're actually, what happens on desktop is it gets cut off after the third bullet. So I love making the third bullet my guarantee bullet, because that may be the last thing that they see when they're skimming your listing is that risk-free guarantee. Fourth bullet, multiple uses. Fifth bullet is your gift bullet. And I saw somebody asked about a supplement. Can we show it as a gift? I would more focus on additional benefits. If it's not really like a giftable thing, I would really focus on like, what is one drive home benefit, or establish your authority in the space. So really talk about a trending topic that's related to that supplement in that bullet point. That's really going to, get those people searching for keto or something like that tied into your listing. But every bullet point, I aim to use 2 to 3 keyword phrases, not individual keywords. And that is going to rank you organically. And it's going to get you Amazon's choice badges. So it's really going to help your listing show up for more searches, which also will help your PPC.
And one thing I would add is that, again, kind of like the images, is that the bullets should not be static. Now, you have to be a little bit careful, because Amazon during certain times will block you from using certain words in your bullets, like around Prime Day. I've seen sellers write, capital P.RIME Prime Day special, right? So that you can write out the word without actually being flagged as not being allowed to write those words. But, can you use a bullet, your top bullet, to say, we have a current promotion happening: buy two save 10% until the end of the month. Use code blah blah blah. Like, Ken use bullets during makes the perfect Mother's Day gift, right? If it's the seasonal time before Mother's Day, right? So I think you can also change your bullets depending on the seasonal, especially for gift items, right? Mother's Day, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Father's Day, Easter, all these different time periods on, like Amy said, use cases for the product. And so your bullets should not be static. In fact, what you should do is you should pull out a calendar and take out all the holidays and take out all the times where your product is relevant for that time period, and mark it down and say, hey, on this date, 3 weeks before Mother's Day, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change my bullets to reflect that change, and have, almost like you would do a content calendar for social on times of the year where you want to update your bullets based on the season.
Yes, I do that too. And I'd love to add, Liran, that when people do that, I'm sure you've seen people make this mistake too, but when you change out that gift bullet, make sure, or that seasonal bullet, make sure you actually research those keyword phrases. Don't just put like Mother's Day. If it's a Mother's Day gift from mother to daughter or whatever, make sure you're actually searching what people are searching for and including those exact phrases. Because as Liran mentioned, if you try to sell to everyone, you're going to sell to no one. So the biggest mistake I see people make in gift bullets is they are like, it's a great gift for Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, Christmas, New Year's. You're never going to rank for that. So use Liran's advice. And especially, I love, Liran, that you do it a couple of weeks before, because it's going to take time to index. You got to get those page visits going, right?
Yep. Yeah. And, people are, there are people that start buying for Christmas in August and September, right? So people are buying for Mother's Day a month away. They're starting to do their research or look. And so that search volume is going to come obviously ahead of the peak buying period.
Cool. Right. Let's talk about the ugly stepchild. That is the product description that people dismiss. But it can be important because that's generally the first thing you'll see on mobile before the bullets. So who wants to take product description first, Liran or Amy? Who's first?
I'll take it first this time.
Go on.
Even though Liran's he's been doing a good job leading the charge here. So product description, y'all. I really want to encourage you to use HTML formatting. There's plenty of tools out there that give you free HTML formatting, right? But use HTML formatting because, as Danny mentioned, it's the first thing that shows up on mobile. And if you just have this big blob of paragraph text, that's just not going to look good, right? So what I love to do on my descriptions is start with a call to action, because, again, it's the first thing that shows up on mobile. So why should they buy this product? What's your call to action? And then I love to say, specifically underneath that, I love to say, why choose us? And give the 5 reasons that they should choose your brand. And this is where you're calling out the benefits of the product, kind of like Liran mentioned, features so that benefits, right? So we have this stainless steel coating so that it doesn't rust 2 days after you put it in the dishwasher, right? So you can kind of repeat the bullets here, but you want to do it in a different way. And I also aim overall in the description, you've got 2,000 characters, y'all, 2,000 characters. So, I love to make sure that I'm using a couple more keyword phrases there. And then after I say why choose us and kind of explain that, the description is another great place to explain your brand story or establish your authority in the space. So if you're selling supplements, for example, like Ruslan here, you really want to tell people why they should buy from you. Like, what is your story? Establish that rapport with the customer. Tell a little bit about you. Or if you have a social element to your brand, maybe you're giving back or something like that. Don't overdo that. I hate that when brands overdo that. But definitely, if something is important to your brand, if your brand has a mission, this is a great place to call it out. And then finally, the product description underneath that. So what actually is maybe the how to use or product information. And then finally end it with a final call to action. Y'all, ask for the sale. What are you waiting for? You need this in your life. Ask for it.
Yeah, and don't forget, it's now indexed as of last year. So descriptions back in vogue compared to A+ content, which is obviously indexes in Google, but from my understanding, unless there's a change, you can correct me here, it's not indexed on Amazon at this stage. Okay, Liran.
Yeah, so all really good points that Amy made. One site you can use, I know Amy mentioned there are some out there. So AmazonDescriptionEditor.com is one site that actually is kind of built for this, where you can just type in the description that you want, and you can click bullet or whatever, and it'll format it for HTML for you. The worst listings I look at either have like a one-line description or just have line like that without any like breaks or bullets or anything. And again, you're losing opportunity to take up space in the listing and to have the right formatting. I think it is almost like a summary of the major points of your product. Again, this is like the final place that you want to make a final push of why somebody should buy your product. So again, list the features, the benefit of the product. And then, like Amy said, differentiate yourself, because I guarantee you, your Chinese competitor is not writing about their company that's based in, Arkansas, that is looking to serve the customer and tell the story of their company. So tie in the emotions of who you are and what you do and why you're serving the customer, etc. in the description. You have the space. You have the space to do it. So it's another way to differentiate your product versus your competition. Again, especially, your competitor from Wuhan is not necessarily your competition. Is not your customer is not necessarily going to care about their small family business. Now, I think small family business is overused. So be more authentic in the story that you tell about yourself. Like my husband and I started this business to create unique STEM toys for kids between age 3 and 5, and we do this out of our Austin, Texas, business, and tell kind of a story that's a small family business, because that's overused. But it is a great way to hit home. And like Amy said, if you have any kind of charitable cause or anything you do to give back in your business, just tie into the emotions and agree also call to action. Buy now during this limited time offer. Buy now while supplies last. Buy now and use coupon code to save 10%. Whatever you could do at that point to have a final call to action in the description.
Yeah, cool. One thing before we want to move on to A+, let's talk backend search terms.
Oh my goodness. So I actually have a free training on this, on how to fill out your backend search terms, like how to research them, how to fill it out. It's on amazingathome.com/blog, and it's all there. I have a full hour-long presentation showing, because this is one of the biggest things, Danny, is people do not fill out the backend keywords or the other fields that index. So intended use, subject matter, those fields index. There's 5 of the fields in each one, and each one is 50 characters long. And so you don't want to repeat the keywords that you've already used in the front end here. You want to utilize those keywords that might be related to what people are searching for in your area, but not relevant to include in the listing front end. For example, if you're selling a yellow coffee mug, but people are also searching for green coffee mug, you're not going to put green in the front end of your listing, but you might want to put green in the back end in search terms, right? You might want to misspell common words. You could put Spanish, different languages that are consistently searched in your area, but utilize all of the fields in the back end, including the more details tab, because what you're going to notice is that on the left side of Amazon, when you search for a product, you're going to see all these additional recommendations, all these filters that people search by. And those keywords would be really key to use in the back-end fields. So for example, if you're searching for curtains for a kid's bedroom, you might see that listed in office. People might be searching by office. They might be searching by, girls' bedroom, boys' bedroom, baby products, whatever. And so if you need ideas for additional keywords to put there, look at those filters on the left side and utilize those as additional keywords to put there. Additionally, if you have a variation listing, you have the ability to put different search terms in each variation and really rank the heck out of that listing. So I just want to encourage people to fill out all of the fields, and there's definitely a way to fill that out. And like I said, I have free training right now doing this listing optimization masterclass. So I have free training on amazingathome.com/blog, as well as Amazing at Home. It's embedded into my listing optimization masterclass page there. So amazingathome.com/listing-optimization-masterclass. So that's free for you guys. It's really helpful information. This is one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is they just don't fill out the back end. And you can really get a lot of extra keywords. What do you think, Liran?
Yes, totally agree. The search term field, I think, is the second most important place for keywords within your listing. So title number one, search terms number two, and yeah, I think it's a great area to have the keywords that you didn't have in the keywords that you couldn't get into your title. The second set of most important keywords. Things like the misspellings, things like the words in Spanish, or misspellings that Amazon doesn't autocorrect. Things like words in Spanish, things like that are not exactly what your product is, but what might be related to your product. So like you said, with the colors, one thing that you shouldn't put in there is competitor brand names. That's a no-no, and especially major brands, because they can come after you for that. But definitely fill out, tons of listings that I see that don't have the search terms filled out. So it's another place to make sure that you have your most important keywords. And I would say search terms specifically, super important. And then, yeah, use the other fields to get more keywords in. And I would bet, like you said, that 90% of people don't have all the other stuff there: intended use, subject matter, all the stuff. But there's a reason why it's there, right? It can't be there for no reason, right? You're going to get benefit out of. It's an algorithm that's going to better understand what your product is for. The more you give the algorithm and the more you feed it with relevant information about your product, the better off you're going to be. So there's no, in my mind, I've never seen a reason to repeat words in the search term or have phrases. I think it's just the individual words. You don't need commas, just spaces. And from what I've seen, you don't need to repeat words that are in your title or already indexed outside. Very easy to check if you're indexed for keywords with tools, but another easy way to check if you're indexed for a particular search term or keyword is to search on Amazon for ASIN and then the keyword next to it. And if you see like 0 results and then the product underneath that, you're not indexed. If you see it come up right away ahead of like showing 0 results, then you're indexed for that keyword. And that's a way you could test out by, if you want to add something to your search terms, to see if you're indexed. And then obviously 249 bytes for what you're allowed to have in the backend search terms.
And don't include commas or symbols. Yep. Just word, space, word, because commas take up 2 bytes. Mm-hmm. So you want to save that extra space.
Good. Right. So A+ content, I'm going to say something controversial now probably and say, is it really fucking worth it? Honestly. Do we really have any proof other than it looks really nice? If you set up a listing for a first time and go straight out the gate with A+, how would you know it converts better than the product description? You wouldn't. One thing. How much data do we really have to compare that they work? And another thing I would say is, if you've got a really long page with content on, you're moving further away from the buy box. So they've got to scroll all the way back up. So I think importance, if you are going to do it, you want to tell your brand story, you want the imagery, you want all these different things. But I think there's a positive and a negative side. Over to you, Amy. Go on, your face is in despair.
Hey, Danny, that was so on point though. Seriously, I love how real you are all the time about everything. I would agree that it's really hard to tell whether or not A+ content or enhanced brand content, whatever we're calling it nowadays, makes a difference. I think it makes you look more professional.
Without doubt. Yep.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
But I've done some tests about whether it indexes, and it seems that it does. But the bottom line is, I agree with you. The biggest mistake I see people make is they'll put a ton of effort into their A+ content and their main images and stuff. The images.
Yeah, they skimp. Yeah, it's the other way around, isn't it? You got like 7 or 8 images and like, shit, what the fuck do we do now? And so something has to suffer. So they end up taking them out of their main images.
Yes.
And then repurpose them down below because you
or
should.
they'll do a better job in their enhanced brand content and have all these great infographics and stuff. Yeah. And then their main images, which is what people are searching through first. Yeah. They don't have anything in there showing features and benefits. So that is what I would say. And then the other thing is, at least the benefits of being a registered brand is that you can include videos, right? And you can show your other products that complement. But I would agree. I don't know that I want to encourage people. I've actually heard people say like, well, I just want to wait until I'm a registered brand so that I can do EBC, before I launch. And I'm like, what are you doing? Get launching, get moving, get selling, So that's my opinion on it.
Hey, Liran, what's your take?
Yeah, so I think number one, it depends. Meaning, if you have a listing that has 1,000 reviews and you're a very competitive price, and like whether you have A+ or not may not matter at that point. You already have all the social proof you need. If you are a newer listing and you don't have all the reviews and the social proof, I think making your listing as good as possible in terms of the look and feel of it will be helpful. I think it also depends on the type of product. You go look at Anchor, for example, right? They have the chargers. Actually, this particular product, this listing, this Anchor power charger, you go look at the bottom and you see this like beautiful comparison chart of like 6 different devices that they have, and each one shows you the data of like how long does this last, what kind of USB, what kind of device is this for, blah blah blah, and I can easily see that, and it gives them the ability to cross sell the other product. You can't do that.
And if it's executed well, like you said, and technical products, right? They need more of an explanation and a story behind it. Fashion brands, they need design, they need color and everything else. But
beauty, health and beauty. So I mean, if I was starting a listing today and I'm brand registered, I'm doing A+ content.
Okay.
I want my listing to look as good as possible. Now, again, if I have a product and I have 3,000 reviews and I'm the market leader and I add A+, is that going to move the needle? Maybe not. I'm already the market leader. I already have all the reviews. I already have all the social proof. I already have everything. So I wouldn't say like, okay, hey, your number one thing you have to focus on to move the needle in your business is A+, because you already have all the social proof. But I would say if I'm brand registered today and I'm launching a product and I have the capability to do A+ content, I'm going to do A+ content.
But if you were selling hammers and nails and stuff, probably, a non-sexy area of business,
Yeah. I would if I was going to do it, I would use
car parts.
I would do it to tell the story of the company.
Yes, the company looks super legit because.
But would you still say is that you would keep control over the length? Yeah, in terms of how much content you got to get a balance, haven't you?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I haven't really thought through what you said, which is like you have to scroll down further if you have all this stuff. But I've also seen people use A+ content in a way that they're really just using graphics without really copy, just infographics, and sometimes that just looks really, really good when you're using graphics with images as opposed to breaking it up with like text content. And you can, in my opinion, I would use A+ content if I had the opportunity to use it.
Cool.
Again, I think depending on the listing, it may or may not, move the needle depending on your product and your positioning in the market.
But that's what I mean. Is like we're trying to give a 360 of opinions here, where people can take on board certain things. Like I'm not disputing wholeheartedly what you said. I question is like if you start from day one and there's no benchmark, you can't tell where it's going to improve or not. But I agree with you, brand story and having the right type of products. But there's products out there. I wouldn't necessarily, like I said, hammers, nails, and non-sexy products. They may not need it, but if they've got a brand story, then
but I would say no matter what, I would use it. If I was brand registered, I am brand registered. But if someone's out there and is wondering, like, should I do it? I don't see what you have to lose. I kind of agree with you, Danny, where you're saying like, hey, the balance. But I love Liran's example of Anchor and how they're really. I mean, guys, get the get in the customer's mind. What is their need and how do you meet it? And what does their life look like now? And show that not only in your photos, but repeat it in your EBC. And just, I mean, I think no matter what, let's say you have a fully indexed description, right? Like you just get approved for EBC, right?
A plus, Amy, A plus, come on.
Incorporate that into your A plus. Incorporate that in there, you know, so that you still have all those awesome search phrases and everything. There's basically a text box that you can include. You can kind of spread it out with pictures and images and stuff. But at a minimum, at least use it to show that, you know, to make the description look better and show that your brand is legit, right?
Yeah, sounds good. And again, that will appear above the bullet points on mobile. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I think we've pretty much exhausted every part listing there to a point. I mean, we could go on forever, but does anyone have anything more they want to add before we go?
I would love to add, just don't forget about the more details tab, you guys. Don't forget about that tab, because I don't know if you stalk your competitors' listings, but they may be indexing for something, or they might have something showing up on their listing and you're like, how did they do that? In most cases, it's because they filled out a field in the more details tab that you didn't. And then, you know, my other thing is always, always, always look at your listing from a customer standpoint. I check mine probably once a week. I look at it from a customer standpoint, scroll down, see what the sponsored ads are looking like, see what Amazon is recommending. Open up a window open up a new window, incognito, right? And see what Amazon says customers buy after viewing your product.
Yeah.
That's really important information.
Another thing which no one does, and you tell every business owner to do it, and they go, yeah, and they never do it. Go into a cafe, open up the mobile, show it to someone you've never met before. Do you understand this listing? What does it mean to you? Watch them, how they browse. I stand over my shoulder with my wife and I watch her on her mobile. And I want to see, as a woman, how does she shop? How does she move the screen and stuff like that? I'm interested in information like that. And I think that's really important as well. If you want to get clarity across, hand your mobile to a few people, show them, and see if they understand. You'll get so many different insights from that as well.
One other thing I would add, Danny, a couple things that we haven't talked about was, one, look at your questions on your listing, right? There's a question.
We didn't cover questions, did we?
We've beaten to death the listing optimization, but now we'll beat it to death more with the questions part. The question answer part, right? See, over time, you're going to get questions from customers, especially if you have traffic to your listing. See what questions customers are asking. Have you done a good job answering those questions within your listing? And then you can also use the description. I've seen people use it to have an FAQ section within the description, right? Like questions and answers on the product, so that you're already answering the questions that the customer has in mind about your product. Gray hat area. I haven't done this recently, but gray area of asking friends to ask questions that can lead to anything like, is there a coupon code available for this product? Well, maybe if there is one and you have a kind of a coupon code that's expiring very far into the future, well, yeah, use this code when you buy two. And having some lead-in questions that you want. Again, I'm sure that's against terms of service, but I've seen people do that. So user-generated questions, Andy Shields, he uses SAQ, should ask questions.
Oh, yeah, sorry, let's bring it up. Yeah, should ask questions.
Frequently ask questions, yeah. So, you can use that in your product description field. So thank you, Andy.
That definitely indexes. So get your friends to ask questions on the listing. They don't have to be a verified purchaser. Your reviews also index. So, just keep that in mind. And that's definitely good. I put a link out there. If you want me to review your listing for free, I will review it and just give you my tips and recommendations. And yeah, thank you, Danny, for having us on and letting us nerd out over listings today.
And Danny, speaking of which, you should be answering customer reviews, right? You should have a VA who answers the customer reviews. Thank you so much. Or if there's a problem, right? Email us at blah, blah, blah. I've put a direct email for the company support inbox. Never had an issue with that of, directing the person from the customer service to say, hey, email us at support at like outside of Amazon. Never had an issue of that, but saying, hey, message us or email us at this address. It's a great way to also showcase that you are responsive as a brand to customers. And this was really useful. Great tips, Amy. So I hope everyone watching got a lot of.
Well, just quickly go back to the bullet points. Yeah. Yep. So what we didn't address, because we went to the questions, a great way to address the questions is to include those in your bullet points as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's end on that. Amy, best way that they can reach you, the people that are listening.
Yeah, so just visit me at amazingathome.com. I got lots of great, just free information out there about your listings and everything like that. So you can always contact me. There's a contact right there on my website, and would love to hear from you. Thanks for having me.
Liran, best way to reach you, mate?
You can. We just launched a new group. It's free for anyone who wants to join until the end of May. So you can go to ecommunitytribe.com to sign up for that group. Again, free. Or you can you can post on my wall or send me a message on Facebook, and I'm usually pretty good at responding.
Cool. Right, guys. So again, same time tomorrow, we've got Women of Amazon Part 3, I do believe. Then on Sunday, we're doing Mindset Sunday, Your Health is Your Wealth. And then on Monday, we're bringing Kian Gilzari to Sourcing Within the Pandemic. I'll put up a list of shows for next week. Guys, thank you so much for your time.
And
guys,
thanks to Danny for putting on like these shows every single day. I see you coming on. It takes a lot of time, effort, organization. So I hope everybody shows a lot of love to what Danny is doing, during this time to keep your mind away from all the bad news and make you focused on your business. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, this is about what's the word I would like to use? This is my accountability. It means I full steer every day, and I've got to deliver. So I enjoy it from a selfish point of view. It's great for me, and I've learned loads of stuff on this call. So hopefully, if you ask the right questions, you get the right answers. But guys, thank you so much again for today. Stay home, be safe, lots of love, take care. We're signing off, and I'll be back here same time tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.